Hello, hello, Aldwyn Altuney here, and welcome to Star Xpose TV. And we're going to have a great time today chatting with Maree Stuartt. She's an award-winning celebrity makeup artist based on the Gold Coast, and we're going to talk about how to boost your confidence, feel like a star, and shine from within. Maree is very passionate about helping people create a life they love. She has spent 27 years in the film, TV, and beauty industries and worked with many A-list celebrities such as Catherine Zeta Jones, Hugh Jackman, Vin Diesel, Naomi Watts, Isla and Heath Ledger on many successful US and Australian films, including Mao's Last Dancer, Crocodile Dundee, LA, The Phantom, The Quiet American, and Paperback Hero. She's also worked on photo shoots with Pepsi, Sportsgirl, TV Week, and Vogue. And as well as all her work on set, she runs a highly successful online course called Makeup Masterclass. Hello and welcome, Maree.
Hello, Aldwyn. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. It's another beautiful Gold Coast day, and we are very blessed here, I must say. It's fantastic to have you on the show today. You've got such a wealth of experience, and I can't wait to hear a little bit about your life story and some of the tips and what it was like working with those celebrities as well. So maybe we start out, what is it that got you interested in film in the first place, in the TV industry?
Well, I always loved the storytelling that films and TV did, and originally started out as a hairdresser, and someone just casually mentioned to me, oh, you can do film, hair and makeup, for TVs and films. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. So I put it in the back of my mind, and then I actually backpacked around the world at the age of 21, and I kept meeting people and in the film industry. And when I went back to Australia, I went, okay, I'm going to become a makeup artist and get into the film industry. And so I did a makeup artistry course, and the rest is history.
Fantastic. And you really have worked on some amazing films and worked with some phenomenal celebrities. So what's it been like working in the film industry?
Look, it's been exciting. I loved it. It really suited me because every day is different, and I love variety. I love spontaneity. I'm passionate about traveling, so I got to go to some amazing places and see some amazing things. I mean, amazing stories of things I would never know about either. So for me, I absolutely loved it. Love working with people because I think everyone has a story, and I really, really enjoy being creative. So it's a lot of fun. However, there's also a lot of really long hours, especially as makeup and hair. It can be 16 hours a day, and you get to be in all different elements, from night shoots to the boiling sun to the rain. So there's also a lot of challenges as well. But all in all, I have absolutely loved this career.
Fantastic. And there absolutely are some great sets, I must say, having done a little bit of film work myself and some acting work. They always seem to pick great locations to be filming, and that is very exciting to get to explore the world like that and to be with a whole lot of creative people in the one place. And you have worked with, Catherine Zeta Jones, some pretty big names here, Hugh Jackman, Vin Diesel. What was it like working with some of these people?
Look, it's fascinating because I believe everyone has a story, and so I always try to treat everyone equal, whether they're an extra or an actor. I really respect the actors and actresses because they do put a lot of work into their craft, and it's just great because my job is to make them feel safe, do their hair and makeup with the first people they see in the morning. So it's getting them to feel comfortable so that the rest of their day flows. So it's been really, really exciting. And I've just loved bumping up against the celebrities and learning about their life as much as I have about the extras' lives as well that we've worked with.
Beautiful. And we were talking earlier before the show started about some bullying that you've experienced also on some shows, and this can happen in the industry. It can be a very dog-eat-dog industry, very competitive industry. So how did you deal with that? Can you share a little bit about that story, about the bullying that you've experienced at times on different sets and how you dealt with that?
Yes, look, I guess I never looked at it as bullying back then. However, I was away on my first international film, and it was my first feature film, and the makeup artist was from, sorry, the hairdresser was from America, and he had promised his friend he would be on the job. So this guy did everything he could to get me ousted. You know, he questioned my skills. He would kind of abuse me in the middle of the night. He would, as in the telephone, he'd ring up in my room. He just tried to turn actors and people against me, and really, really chipped away at my self-belief and my confidence. And being on my first feature film, I guess, you know, my confidence wasn't as high as it probably could be. So I just had to really center myself and breathe and just be me, more than anything. The actors loved me, the producers loved me, the other team members loved me. And it did come to a time where I had to sit outside the office, and he was trying to convince them that I wasn't good at my job. However, the other makeup artist really loved me, and the producer loved me, and the actors did. So I got to stay and battle through it, but I just had to breathe every day and try and believe in myself and know that I was there for a reason, and it worked. Yeah.
That self-belief is really important, isn't it? And particularly, you know, with a lot of celebrities out there, you know, the thing is, if you're putting yourself there out in the limelight, you need to be prepared that there's going to be people that love you and people that don't. And you need to be able to cope with whatever flack comes your way. And I know, having seen a lot of interviews with celebrities, they often talk about this because they get a lot of crap through magazines, a lot of lies are spread about celebrities, a lot of rubbish out there. And a lot of the time, I think they just turn a blind eye to it. They just cannot take that stuff on board because, you know, people are trying to shake them off the perch, so to speak. They try to, you know, rattle their mission and their love. And often I think when people are putting other people down, it's because they're not feeling secure within themselves. As they say, hurt people, right? And I love that saying, hurt people, hurt people. So I often think when people are being nasty to other people, it's often saying more about them than it is about the person. And you'll never have everyone that loves you. And, you know, as much as we all want to be loved and we all want to be accepted, the fact is that there will always be people that don't like you for whatever reason, and there'll be people that do. And, you know, I guess being able to ride that wave and being okay with that. You're not going to please everybody. So, you know, having that inner self-belief as you did is really important. And nowadays you teach other people how to do that, how to be confident within themselves. And of course, being a makeup artist, and you look fabulous. I think your makeup is great testament to the great makeup job you do. And of course, I'm very conscious now, thinking, okay, have I got too much eyeliner on? Am I doing my makeup right? So what are some makeup tips you have for people, or some confidence tips? You know, maybe we'll start with the confidence and give us some great tips. What do you recommend we do or don't do in this area?
Well, I guess with confidence, one thing I found that helps is if I look good, and it doesn't mean I have to look the most beautiful or have the most best dress or anything like that on. It just means, do I feel that I look good? You know, have I made an effort to do my hair, just put even a 5-minute makeup on, something that I feel nice in? That I find always helps me to have a little bit more confidence. And there's a lot of times when we're not having confidence, which I find we tend to just put on maybe dull colors or things that are maybe a little bit more frumpy, even if I can say that word. And
Yes.
what I find is we have to do the opposite. So I have a trick with makeup. It's like, if I'm not feeling good, I always go and put on a brighter color lipstick because it'll always lift my mood. So that's just kind of like look good, but also a makeup tip as well that I find really, really handy. The other thing that I do to help me feel good about myself is I like to move my body. I like to have exercise, some form. I really, really love yoga. I love going for walks. I've run. I've gone to the gym, all sorts of things, but just something. Sorry, I'm losing my earphone here.
Okay.
That's something that makes me feel good when I move my body, because that breath through our body helps us to get rid of some of those thoughts that are creating us not to feel confident. So moving your body is another really, really good tip. And my third tip for confidence it's to build yourself a toolbox of memories of things that made you feel good. So you may have times, we all have times where we felt good when we did something, or we felt confident, you know, in this situation. So I try to always like build on those, or if I meditate, I'll just kind of like enhance them, turn the volume up on them. And when I do need it, or when I am feeling a little bit challenged, I'll always take a deep breath and just draw on one of those memories and try and bring that feeling back up, so that it does help me feel confident. Because there's so many times throughout our day where that confidence may come and go. So it's really good to have that toolbox of memories there.
Yes, absolutely. And I notice when I do my makeup, I feel better, or when I do my nails, I've got my nails done at the moment, and I noticed, and these are actually gel nails at the moment, I just want to point out, and they're not the fake acrylic, you know, the longer nails. These are just gel over my natural nails, but just having color on my nails makes me feel better, right? As opposed to, you know, chip nail polish that I haven't got around to, you know, touching up, etc. So I think just even doing your nails and just personal hygiene, having your hair nice, it definitely does boost your confidence. When you look like crap, you often feel like crap, and I think you know, it's representative.
Yes. So it's like self-care, you know. A little bit of self-care will always help you feel confident, because you've given yourself that love, and that to me is also important. So yeah, it can be makeup, it can be exploring with color, it might be deciding that, you know, what outfit am I going to get, how can I complement, you know, whatever I'm going to do with that. So it really comes down to that self-care, I think, helps to build that confidence.
And there could be times when you break a nail, if you do have the fake nails, right? Which I used to have the acrylic nails, and sometimes you may break a nail, or it cuts in deep and you end up with pain, and then you may not be able to get to a nail place to get it sorted maybe for another day or two. So what do you do in situations like that, when you know there's something's gone terribly wrong with your physical appearance, yet there's nothing much you can do about it because you might be in the middle of running a workshop, for example, or you know? So how do you still stay confident when things are going a bit haywire?
Well, first of all, I usually go, oh, bugger. I can't say that. You know, I do get the frustration, because damn that. And then I just breathe and I just let it go, because it's, you know, I realize that that's not the important part. You know, like even when I'm teaching yoga, I'll get the lefts and I'll get the rights mixed up, and 9 times out of 10 I just laugh at it. I'll go your other left or your other right. You know, I make a joke of it, and that normally helps me to feel a bit more confident. It makes everyone realize I'm human as much as everyone else is as well.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. And so what about some other makeup tips? I love the bright lipstick idea. I think that's great. And interestingly, like I've worn red lipstick, for example, and then I've worn lighter colors. And some people will say to me, I think you look better with the lighter colors. However, you know, when I'm wearing red lipstick tends to look good. But there's something about, if you have a darker color, it shows your lips in a bit of a different way too, doesn't it? So for some people, lighter colors might be better for their face. Is that right? Do you know much about that?
And it really just depends on you. It depends on your outfit. You know, some people are warm shades, some people are cool shades. And for example, red can be an interesting color because there's so many shades of red. And some people, watermelon red suits better, where others, fire engine red suits better. So one of my tips with makeup is to explore with color. You know, if you are going to go and buy lipsticks, make sure you get to try a couple on, just to make sure that, you know, it works for you. Also with your eyeshadows and things like that, it's just have fun with color. But lips tend to be, you know, also one thing I find with lips is make sure that they're moisturized and they're kept smooth, because when they're kept smooth, the lipstick looks much better on them. And another really good tip with your makeup is to make sure you have a hydrated face, because if you have a hydrated face with a good moisturizer, then your makeup will stay on and it won't sink into your face, which I'm sure you've all experienced. I have myself, where sometimes it sinks into your face. So you really want your skin to be hydrated so that your makeup actually stays where it's meant to stay and not sink right into your face. Another tip with makeup, and I really like this tip because I discovered it many years ago. It's if I'm going out, particularly somewhere special or somewhere I want to look good, I always decide on the outfit first, and then I go and do my makeup. And I use my makeup as an accessory like I do the jewelry. And I find this is a really good tip. So if you pick your outfit first, pick your top first, and then go and do your makeup, then 9 times out of 10, it will work out much better for you. Rather than if you just do your makeup and come back and put your clothes on, the colors might kind of not really work with what you've decided. So use your makeup as an accessory like you do your jewelry.
I think that's a great tip too. And what about eyes? Now, there's lots of different ways to do your eye makeup. And I traditionally just, I usually put a bit of, actually I've got some sparkly eyeshadow on at the moment, and then I just do eyeliner and mascara. That's pretty much my eye routine. But I know there's ways you can make it darker on the sides and make it look bigger, etc. So do you have a system you follow with doing your eyes?
Look, I do, and that's all in my Makeup Masterclass, where I go into details with that. But it really can be a 5-minute job, The lighter color generally goes up here, the mid color across your lid, and then the darker color is the socket line or the little bit of enhancement around your eyes that you see. So that is it in short. But if you want more details, my Makeup Masterclass is really good for that. But here's one big tip with eyeliner. Because if you are in a hurry, that is the first thing I believe that most of us mess up. So if I'm in a major hurry, I skip the eyeliner but put lashings of mascara on instead. So I'll just do like 2 coats of mascara instead and race out the door. I know some people do the mascara in the mirror in the car, but eyeliner is, you have to really get that line right and blend it. If you don't have that time, I say skip it and make sure you put 2 lashings of mascara on.
That's a great tip. And the oily eyeliner as opposed to the pen liner, the liquid liner. The liquid liner I find very hard to work with. I find when I put that on, it often ends up smudging. And so I know there's I make a big mess with the liquid liners. So I tend to use the pencil liners myself. Although I know with some people it looks amazing when they get the liquid liner right. It looks great, I think. So do you have a
pencil liner is far more forgiving than liquid liners. So liquid liner for me is, if you're going to do that, you want to make sure you have the time. You want to be able to steady your hand. And I like to just kind of put my finger on my face while I try to steady my hand when I do the liquid liner. You can also do that with your crayon or your pencil liner, but that is also easier to blend away as well. So you have to really be focused with the liquid liner, and it looks amazing and dramatic. But if you're not, the pencil liner is fine. You can even wet some of your eyeshadows, like really just damp, and then apply them as well. It's a really good tip.
Brilliant tips. Love it. And hair has a lot to do with it too. Now, your hair needs to look good too, right? So your face is one thing, and then hair. So what's the best way to make sure that you have hair that you love and you're making your hair look good?
Hair is a funny thing because I find energetically hair is kind of our sensitivity. So I don't know, sometimes you go through some major transitions in your life and you feel like you just want to have your hair all chopped off. And that's because you're feeling like a new person and you want something new and different. So hair can say so many things about us. Everyone has a different thing with hair. Like if you're having a bad hair day, people say just throw it up in a ponytail or put it in a clip or something. We all have bad hair days. And that's probably the best thing to do, is to just tie it up and have some loose things coming out and be okay with that. There's dry shampoos in case you need that, or go and wash your hair and just make it feel different. So hair can be very, very tricky because there's so many layers to hair as well. But, find the things that that work for you. And I think most people do. They have like kind of 2 to 3 looks that they know that they feel confident in, and that's their go-to look. So if you are going out somewhere that you really need to really shine confidently, either make sure you practice or have a hairdo like that prior, so that when you come to the time when you have to go on screen, for example, or if you have to go to a ball, that you've already trialed that hair so you know that you like that look, and that will help with your confidence. Try not to step out somewhere new where it's really important with a look you haven't had before, because sometimes you may not be able to pull it off.
Yes, some brilliant tips there. Loving all that. And it's interesting, you know, I sometimes see people, I see women that I think they don't necessarily have the most attractive face, yet they do their hair so nicely, their bodies look good, you know, and I think it's amazing how you can jazz up yourself if you don't, you know, if not necessarily don't necessarily have the best features, but then that, you know, that's in the eye, beauty's in the eye of the beholder as well, right? So, however, I've just noticed.
There's two tips with that, is confidence, right? If you're shining your confidence from within, and if you feel good about yourself, that's the vibe that will be put out. So, you know, it really helps. And the other thing with beauty is the eye sees things as beautiful when it's symmetrical. So we all have uneven features in our face, in our body, but if you have color coordinated, for example, what you're wearing, and color coordinated with your face, or you've kind of evened out, like, you know, if one eye is big or one eye is small, that also can help you look more beautiful without people even realizing, because the beauty is symmetry to the eye.
Ah, how interesting. Wow, that is so interesting. Yeah, because often when you're standing tall too, you might find that one side is longer than the other, and things, it might just be subtle, but that can make a big difference. Wow. And yeah, confidence, absolutely. You know, it's not about being a size 8 model. And I think this is the thing, is that, you know, where a lot of people have body image issues is that they're, for way too long, they've been looking at magazine covers thinking they need to be these anorexic, you know, model type figures, whereas actually you can be very voluptuous and, you know, like in Rubenesque times, be voluptuous, and doesn't matter how big you are, if you love your body and love your skin and being in your skin, then even if you're, you know, quite a big person, you can be very confident, come across very beautiful as a bigger person, which I would say I'm a bigger person. I'm about a size 14 or so. I'm a bigger person to the traditional, you know, model looks, the size 8 model looks, which is probably more of a normal or a common look out there, is that generally people are bigger than size 8. And, you know, a lot of women having bulimia issues, etc., trying to fit this mold of being really skinny, where it's not really about that at all. Although they do say if you're skinnier and lighter, you will live longer, and it is healthier generally not to be too skinny. But, you know, you don't want to be too overweight either, because then you're giving your organs a hard time to be able to cope with that on a health perspective. However, regardless of that, you can still be a bigger person and still ooze a lot of confidence and beauty, just
Definitely.
by really loving yourself.
Inner and outer beauty, you know, it goes hand in hand. I really believe that both are holistic. I really do. And I think it's just as important to work on the inner beauty as it is on the outer beauty. And that is what I'm totally passionate about. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you do yoga too. Now that's really important too, the mind-body connection. So can you share a bit about your love for yoga and how that's developed?
I just love how I feel after yoga. So for me, it has always helped quiet my very busy mind, which has been very important. It's just always helped with that body-mind connection. But, you know, I've always been into exercise of some type, and it was only really 3 years ago that I really solidly got into yoga. I'd done a little bit before that. And what I found was, I noticed that in my everyday life, I was becoming a better person. I was interacting better rather than reacting. I was able to let things go and just be much better in myself and much better in the world when I did yoga. And also I felt good. My body felt good. Sometimes it might feel sore. It might feel stretched out. But all in all, I could feel that if I didn't do yoga during the day, then my day wouldn't go as smooth. So I really learned quickly that I wanted to do those things that made me feel good. And I really, really enjoyed it. And a lot of people have mentioned, oh, why don't you do teacher training and stuff. And I thought, no, I just really love it. However, I did do the teacher training and absolutely love sharing that with other people and the benefits of yoga, because it's so much more than just moving your body. You know, it's inner and outer, flexibility, strength, ability to let go, to see things from a new perspective. There's just so many limbs to yoga that are very holistic and really fit in with my philosophy in life.
My cat does yoga every morning. I must say,
Exactly,
I'm
right?
always impressed with my cat's moves in the morning. And, you know, I find myself just naturally actually stretching and breathing as soon as I wake up. So I find myself just naturally going into that. But I absolutely love yoga too. And I've actually gone into a yoga class in the past. I've gone in feeling sick, like I've got the start of a flu coming on, and by the time I finished the yoga class, I've come out feeling fantastic and no signs of flu. So it's amazing how quickly it can heal the body just by breathing through and stretching, because we hold a lot of ailments or dis-ease in the body is often linked to emotional issues too. And so I guess when you can breathe that out and stretch it out, it's amazing how healing it can be. And it's really exciting that the Western world has hopped on board with the whole yoga idea. It's been around for a long time, I guess, in India and with cats. I presume it started in India. Do you know the history of yoga?
Yes, it did start in India, and you know, it's really yoga was originally meditation, and to being able to sit in that position and meditate. And the asanas, as the Western world have developed, actually were developed so that people could sit in that meditation for a lot longer, because it is about the union. Yoga is about union of self, body, mind, union. However, what I really find is helpful with the asanas, or the postures as we know it in the Western way, is that you're right, our mind is always making something up and always getting memories from somewhere, and it has a lot to do with our feelings and our mind. And what happens is sometimes they get stuck in our body. So yoga, or even going for a walk or exercise of some sort, really helps to move that energy out of your body, so that then you can create new things and create new thoughts. So that's what I love about it. It's the power that helps you to keep transforming and growing, and having that union and that peace within yourself, so that you can bring that peace into everything you do, and watch some of those thoughts and feelings that come past, rather than like grab onto them and regurgitate them, so to speak. And yeah, that's what yoga is great about, just getting it all out and just watching it and observing and making new transformations for yourself.
Yeah, beautiful. And they say exercise also is great to help people with depression. It's really great to actually exercise, and by moving your body, it actually helps your state of mind. And another favorite thing I love to do is go body surfing. I absolutely love getting my feet in the sand and body surfing. I don't like using boards so much, because I just find they get in the way, and often I can whack myself in the head. So I don't like to do that. Obviously, I like the free-flowing side of body surfing. And so part of being confident, as you said, is doing what you love to do, right? So that could be creating artwork. It could be anything really. It could be exercising in some form. It could be cooking. So what are some of the things that you like to do in your spare time other than yoga and makeup? What else do you do in your spare time that you love, Maree?
Well, I'm a really creative person and spontaneous, and I love traveling. So traveling for me just fills me up on so many levels. So that's one of my passions. But I do love being creative. I love to paint. I really love to write. Even just reading a really good book and being inspired from some really good information or a great story. Really love the beach, like yourself. It's one of my favorite places to relax. Yeah, and I'm lost without a beach. Or I love skiing, snow skiing as well. I just love being with the elements of nature and involving that in my day somehow as well. It just really uplifts me and makes me feel good.
Beautiful. And bushwalking or admiring the trees or gardening even is great. And I love traveling.
Not a gardener. Well, I mean, I like being in the garden, but I'm not the best gardener.
You're not the best gardener?
No.
Well, you're surrounded by a beautiful garden, so that's very nice. And I've got a lovely garden here too in Southport. I've got a bit of a tree house. I call it my tree house here. I've got I hang out with the birds at the top of the trees. It's really nice. So nature, I think, is great as well. Being in amongst nature and animals, as you say, you know, being in amongst the elements is really important. We have such a beautiful world out there, and so many people are just stuck behind their computers or, you know, on their phones now. This phone addiction is a whole new world, and people are starting to get social anxiety now because they spend so much time on their technology that they're disconnected. You know, they might feel connected in one way, but they're actually disconnected on a personal level. And hence the social anxiety. People are forgetting how to communicate effectively face to face. So I think, you know, if you want to boost your confidence, I would say you need to at times get away from the computer too and away from your phones and connect.
100%. Connect with people and nature and things that you love. I firmly believe that, and I've seen this happen so much to so many people that. And I've had it myself a little bit sometimes. I just feel disconnected. And when I feel disconnected, then I'm feeling low in vitality, low in energy. I'm not feeling confident at all. I just feel that alone. And I remember one time someone said to me, and I was here alone for a while, and my business was online, so I wasn't connecting like physically with a lot of people. And someone said, have you ever thought that you're lonely? You feel disconnected? And when it was brought to my attention, I went, wow, I didn't realize that the way I was feeling, which was just yuck, was because I was feeling disconnected. So I really make that effort to get out there. And that's another reason why I like yoga or an exercise classes. I get out, I see people, and I can say hi. And you know, I'm just not on that Facebook and social media. I think that, you know, it's an awesome platform, yet I just think that we do need to connect with our souls, and then that needs to be shared with others, because I believe everyone has an amazing story and can be inspired by you. But if you're not out there inspiring us with your story, then there's a disconnection there.
And you said you've noticed some trends with women also over time, and as women age, you know, there's been some confidence issues there. So what are some of the things that you've noticed, and how do you help people through that?
Well, I've really noticed, I guess, on and off sets that, you know, women just tend to lose, like, whether we call it our mojo, or we just can tend to become or feel invisible. And perhaps sometimes when mothers, you know, they have such a beautiful purpose, like raising these wonderful children, and then, or maybe not, sometimes they give you a hard time, I'm sure, and then they leave home and the woman is left and she feels disconnected because she's actually disconnected from herself a little bit. So she's got to refine and evaluate who is she, and raise her vitality and her feelings. But she doesn't know how to do that. And I think sometimes that we just get really stuck in what we're used to. And for me, I've always embraced change and tried to keep growing and transforming and trying new things, because I may find another connection that way, or may feel more confident through doing something different. And I've really seen that a lot of women sometimes just get maybe stuck in our ruts without realizing. And therefore we lose that vitality. We lose even our sex drive, you know, or how we feel and relate to the opposite sex or people that we're interested in. And so it's just a matter of learning to rebuild that confidence again. And it comes back from that self-care, that inner, that beauty work that you can do for yourself, trying something new even. To build that up again, to start raising your vibration so that you start attracting and creating what it is that you really want.
Beautiful. And how resistant are you finding women to wanting change?
I think a lot of us are resistant to change because it's scary. It's the unknown. And we all actually do. I know you and I were talking earlier, and a lot of us, we don't realize, but we crave uncertainty as much as we crave certainty. So change is uncertain, but it's the only thing out there, like when you look in nature and everywhere, that is guaranteed to happen. Change is the only guarantee that we have in life. So if we can learn to embrace that and embrace the uncertainty, it helps to let the resistance go. And you know, I had a major experience when I was younger that really taught me about letting go and going with the flow, to learn to really grasp this, I guess, that concept. And I know you're going to say, what was that, right?
Yes, yes. Everyone's waiting to hear yeah, that's right. I'd love to hear what that was.
So I was in Switzerland. I was backpacking around the world, and it was a really rainy day, and I was in a youth hostel and not much to do. And so I decided I'd go canyoning. It sounded great, fun and adventurous. Off we went, and I was having a great time. It was with nature, right? So I was happy. I was in my element, you know, I'm sailing down these rocks and clambering along and through the forest and things. And then we had to jump off a waterfall that was into just a small keyhole. I think the waterfall was 30 feet high, and I was the second one to jump. And when I jumped, the water, where I jumped, unfortunately, the water kept me pinned under. I was right under the waterfall. So I could not make my way up. I was going round and round like spin cycle on a washing machine. And I just could not make my way out of this. And I was saying to myself, I'm a good swimmer. What's going on? Why can't I get out of this? And I just couldn't. And my best friend had actually drowned. And I actually got to the point where I was drowning, and I went to myself, oh my gosh, this is how Rose felt. She just felt this peace. And I saw my life flash before me. I saw all my loved ones, my parents, my brother, my sister, and I just felt love for them. And I got to that point of peace, and I went to myself, all I can do is let go and go with the flow. And then instantly someone, unbeknownst to me, had jumped in to try and save me, and they found me, and they slammed me against the rocks where my chest hit the rocks, and it brought my breath back. And yeah, I survived, and the rest is history, I guess. But it really taught me the lesson of, when we're resisting and fighting, you just will never get yourself out of that. It's learning to be able to just take that breath, to let go, and to go with the flow. And if something really isn't flowing, then perhaps that's not for you. Perhaps that's not the thing you're meant to do. So take a step back and allow the universe to bring in what it needs to bring in, so that you can flow with that.
That's beautiful. And obviously your time wasn't up, Maree. I'm glad you didn't drown back then, because there's so much that you have given the world in the few years after that. So yeah, so thank goodness that happened in a way, and that you learned that lesson from that, and it helped make you even stronger. And that's the thing, is that a lot of our hardest times bring the biggest lessons. Our biggest challenges bring the biggest lessons, or around the corner of every breakdown is a breakthrough, I say.
So true. So true.
Looking at that in your life, and there's bound to be ups and downs, because it is the roller coaster of life. It's like the waves of life, or sometimes the king tides of life. You know, sometimes you do need to go with the flow. And it's like, if you're caught in a rip, I've been caught in a rip a few times, talking of the ocean. And if you're caught in a rip, you do need to very much go with the flow, because a lot of times that people drown in the ocean are when they're fighting against the rip. So eventually, if you just go out with the rip, eventually it will come back around, and you'll be able to come back to shore. So you need to just go with the flow sometimes when you're out in the ocean or in life. And if you're finding that you are jolting through life and headbutting a lot, then maybe relook at where you're going and what you're doing. Maybe you're not really in flow with the way you're meant to be going or moving forward. In saying that, there's always going to be challenges that will come forward when you are taking on new things. So you might be doing what you love, but there might be parts of what you're doing that you don't enjoy. And so then it's important to outsource, right, and find people that love those things too. Because I think as women, we do try to do it all ourselves a lot. We all think we're Wonder Women and can do everything ourselves. And I know I've definitely done this a lot in my life, and learning to let go as well with parts of my business and different parts of my life, and outsourcing, I think, is really important to take some load off, so you're not so overwhelmed with everything.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and it's okay. We don't have to be Superwoman. Like, who put that out there? You know, I'd love to know where we got that from, and why that makes you classified as successful. I mean, I think success is really classified individually for ourselves. I don't believe it globally on different things. And I just look around and go, that doesn't have to be what success is. It has to come down to you. And if you're feeling confident and you like who you are and you can accept your weaknesses and your strength and know every day that you're doing the best you can, then to me, that's success. Sorry, I just lost the earpiece.
Okay. Yeah, very good point. Absolutely. Success is defined as many different things. It's not necessarily having the nice car and the nice house and the good-looking partner. And, you know, it's not necessarily defined as that. Success could be being healthy.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, loving yourself. It could be expressing yourself. You know, what is success? It's a really interesting concept, because the thing about success too is, if you look at it in the terms that a lot of people look at success, as in, you know, or how much money you have, the thing is no matter how much you have, there's always going to be more that you can achieve. And so there's this never-ending cycle of, you know, you reach a certain point of success, and then there's more, then there's the next step, there's more, and sometimes it can be like the mouse on the wheel, and you can keep running and running and running through life and not achieving the level of success that you want, because you're never happy with what you have, right? So then it's a matter of enjoy the journey, right?
Gratitude diary is a really good thing to always keep. I keep what they call an evidence diary as well. So for example, if there's things that I want to create, or I have a goal, it's great, but I have that goal, but I try to let go of how it should happen. Yet what I will do is keep an evidence journal each time something that is related to that comes in, and that really boosts my confidence. It really boosts my faith and belief that what I want is coming towards me. So I really recommend an evidence journal. I mean, people say gratitude as well, which is great, and I firmly believe that gratitude can change absolutely everything. But I like to also have an evidence journal, so that I'm even more grateful for those things that haven't come my way yet, and I'm building the energy towards that already. It's a good tip.
Oh, I've never heard of that. I really like that. Is that like so the evidence journal, is that like a goal journal? Is it where you write down what you want without expecting it to turn out a certain way?
Well, I guess kind of like I might have a subject. So for example, one of my goals with my husband is we really want to get a catamaran and sail around the south of Europe, and I want to do yoga beauty retreats with women. And so that's a goal, but I just let it go as well. I'm committed to make that happen, yet I'm just going to let it go and see what the universe brings my way to help create that, as well as take inspired action. So I might suddenly, someone sends me an email about these types of boats or something. I go, oh, okay, got an email with boats. So the goal might be at the top, and then I just keep adding every bit of evidence. Or I might be introduced to somebody who's actually done that. So I go, oh, suddenly met someone who had done my goal. Just anything like that would come towards it. Or I got an inspired idea for a new business that will help me build the income to create that goal. So I just really, really look at those things that come into my life, and are they in alignment with where I want to go? And if so, wow, that's a little bit of evidence. And that really helps to build my belief and confidence.
I love that. I actually have a little red diary, and on one side I have my big list of to-dos, or my to-do list, which I love ticking off. I love ticking off my to-do lists. And I had one profile, I had actually, they call it Gallup Strengths Finder. I had this personality test or strengths test done a little while ago, and achiever was my number one personality trait, right? So I love to create a list of to-dos, and I love ticking them off. So that's one of my strong things. And I have to be aware that it's not all about the to-dos, and also enjoy the journey as I'm going, and not just continually be ticking off things off my list. And then on the other side of this red book, I have things I'm grateful for. And every morning I write 5 things I'm grateful for. And lately on my Facebook Lives, I've loved sharing what I'm grateful for and asking people what are they grateful for. And it's amazing how good you feel when you share like that, when you're sharing things you're grateful for, it's amazing. You automatically go out of whinging mode, and it's because often there might be one little black spot in life, something that you're not happy about in life, and some people go on and on and on, and no one here on this call, of course, but other people go on and on and on about this little thing instead of looking at all the things that you can appreciate. And appreciate's lifting up as well. So it does. Appreciating is lifting people up, lifting the energy up around you. And I think that evidence journal's a really good idea as well. I really like that. And so that you know that you're on path, because it's easy to get distracted too in today's day and age. We have a lot of bright, shiny objects out there. And I know I've had some bright, shiny object syndrome in the past. And so staying on path is really important too. And some people say if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't get any rabbits, or you won't achieve the kind of success you want. Whereas if you just focus, and if you think of a laser light beam of focus, that's a very strong beam of light. Whereas if you have distracted light, it dissipates and it's not as strong. So being on path is really important. So what are some other things you do to help build your confidence, to help you stay on path? Are there any other tips you can give us around that, Maree?
I meditate or visualize. I'm a big visualizer, being creative, so I do both.
Nice.
And one thing about meditation is people just think it's like there's such a connotation to meditation. Not everyone thinks this way, but such a connotation. However, it really is learning to observe your thoughts so that you're not your thoughts, so that you're more the awareness of those, and you can let them go, in the sense that you can actually feel that peace no matter what's going on. It also, to me, helps tune you in, and you get amazing inspiration. So for me, that is something that I do regularly. And regularly I do visualize things as I already want them. Not in the sense of I'm a big daydreamer, I guess, but it's like, I often see the boat. I see my husband. We've put ourselves in situations where we've been there so that we can feel what it feels like. So I really firmly believe in feeling and turning up the feelings on the things that we really want, and turning it down on the things that we don't want. Because as you said, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to think about the things that aren't working in our lives, because let's face it, if we listed them, I guess there's quite a lot. However, there's also quite a lot that is working in your life for you. And so I really always try to focus on those things. When I see myself going in a loop, I hear myself, and then I try to go, right, okay, what is good in my life? What is something that I love about it? So there's some good practices. As I said, the beach is amazing for me, to be in nature, or just the beach, to just let go. Sharing time with family and friends, and just laughing, and life is just so amazing, and just learning to find the magic every day. I really say to myself, as I wake up, I go, I'm really happy and grateful for today. What wonderful, magical things am I going to co-create? So I'm always kind of expecting to create something magical and fantastic every day.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I often say to people when I do my talks, I say, you are 1 in a billion just by being born. So you won the race just by being born. You're one. Well, it's actually between 400 million and 1.2 billion, depending on how excited your parents were in that moment. But generally speaking, I rounded off to about 1 in a billion. You're about 1 in a billion just by being born. And we often don't get how magnificent we are and how amazing we are. And we all have a special gift and a special message. And I think we're all here for a purpose. And it's a matter of living into that, I guess, is how I would classify living life to the full, making the most of life, is actually living on purpose. Because I think one of the worst things in life would be to get to the end of your life and look back on your life and think, what have I done? Or have any regret whatsoever. And I believe the stats are fairly high as to how many people actually do get to the end of their life and regret that they hadn't done more, or hadn't done, what they really wanted to do. People have these dreams, and they sometimes squash their own dreams. So so then your environment is really important, right, Maree? Having good, positive people around you to uplift you, and that may mean saying goodbye to a few people, or hanging out with them less. Now, when it's family that's like that, well, you know, there's not much you can do about that, but you can choose how much time you spend with family, right? And you know, and if people are negative around you, I think you can, you know, pull them up on it and just be straight with people and say, you know, I want a positive, uplifting environment. And if you're going to keep coming at me with negativity, then, you know, we might just not be seeing each other as much or whatever. Just be straight with people. You know, a lot of people just beat around the bush and don't have straight conversations.
Well, I mean, the only responsibility that each and every one of us has is for our own energy. So no one else is responsible. No one else can make me feel bad. No one else can make me feel good. However, that's how society conditions us to think that way. So when you really take responsibility for your own energy, you start to work those things out. And perhaps there are friends that tend to be a bit negative. And I don't always say that, you know, you say goodbye to them. You just maybe know what environment they're best in, because when they feel great in. So maybe I might not answer their call if it doesn't feel right, or I just know that I need to be in a different environment to deal with that. But it is being straight, but just realizing that it's not anyone else's responsibility to make me feel good or not good, and everyone has so many layers going on, and we never know what's unfolding for people at the time. And it's so easy to judge someone and go, oh, she, you know, she's so negative or this or that, but you do not know what their day has been like, what their month has been like, what their week or their year has been like. So I try not to judge, you know, and I really work on that, because I find that it's my own responsibility. So if I realize I need to be here, then I will do what it takes to be at that level. And I do like people around me that do support me as well. And it is interesting, I've had to outgrow some other people and some other things, because maybe they're not as supportive, and I have to learn to let go and be okay with that. So there's that lesson again of let go and go with the flow. You know, it's a constant lesson in life, because it's really important to have your energy where you want it, so that you can inspire other people. Otherwise, if you're down with everybody else who's down and who's poor, you're never going to help anybody get rich and uplifted. So your responsibility is up to you to feel good about yourself and do whatever it takes to create that.
Absolutely. That's so true. No one can really make you feel bad. You make yourself feel bad. However, the impact of constant negativity around you will eventually, I think, take its toll, no matter how positive you are. And it could be people might be going through a rough patch, and there's times that we all, you know, have a whinge about something here or there, or, you know, I think that's quite normal as a human being. There's sometimes things don't always go the way you want them to go, and you need to be able to move through that and not dwell on that for any extended length of time. Otherwise, you just stop yourself moving forward. So I think that there's a lot of great things there in what you said. And, you know, it's funny, I used to do years ago, I did door-to-door sales work. And I remember with our sales meetings in the morning, we would actually go through the act of putting on an invisible suit. And what this invisible suit was, we put it on our pants, we put on an invisible suit jacket. And so any shit that came our way would just bounce off, right? So it's almost like you do need to protect your energy, so that things don't land and stick, and you don't take on other people's dramas. And at the same time, I'm very supportive when friends need something, or if they're feeling down, or, you know, I do believe in the Are You OK Day. I think is a fantastic initiative that we recently had. It was on the 13th of September, 5 days ago. So Are You OK Day, I think, is fantastic, because 20 to 30% of people out there do have depression or anxiety, which is huge. And I think often it's because they're not doing what they love. They're not living lives they love, and so they get very depressed around that. So what are some tips you would give for people that maybe they know they're not doing what they love? And we've given a heap of tips here already, but you know, we do need to wrap up the show in about 5 minutes or so. But, you know, any other tips on if people aren't on path or not on course for what they want for their lives, how can they maybe find what they love or do what they love and have some more inspired lives?
I think for me, one way that has worked is when I am in the funk, I call it, just to be aware that you are in that place and that you would like to change is number one. And then
Mm.
I often just take a piece of paper and usually go outside, like to the beach or in nature somewhere, and I'll just write out everything. Everything that my little voice just wants to say. Oh, I'm so unhappy with this, this, and this, this, and this. And it usually doesn't feel good. And I actually usually write it really fast. It's just like a dialogue running out. And then I will write, well, what I do want to create. And I just get inspired. But I find once I've dumped everything out that I don't want, it's really nice to then be able to just, and it can be so simple as I just want to feel good. I want to eat more healthy. And then I will choose something from that list. And what can I do? And I will take a step towards that. What can I do today that will make me feel like I've eaten healthy? Well, I might go and buy some apples and eat an apple, you know. So you take something from that list and you do an inspired action, because that's inspiration. And if you can act on that inspiration, it starts to set up a new pattern for you. And then you start on those small things and then take the small steps, and know that if you are really, really low, the chances of getting really, really high instantly, and that's not real. So you want to just start on something that moves you up and up and up that ladder, and do your gratitude if you can. But really, once you get the things out of your head, I find it's easier to put the things I want. And generally, here's a little tip. I then in a safe environment, of course, I actually burn it and do a little ritual. I actually burn it and then I wash it away with water, because I use all the elements of the earth, sky, fire, air. Sorry.
Yes.
Earth,
air, fire, water.
Air, fire, water.
Yeah.
I think I need some water myself.
Yeah.
And I use all of those to let it go, and then focus on that inspired action of going and doing that one little step. But just also knowing that, okay, it may take a few more steps to get where I really want to be.
I love that. And that's letting go again, isn't it? It's getting it out of your head, because, often we've got so much going on in our heads, as you say, and it becomes paralysis by analysis. We overanalyze everything and want to control everything, and and that's just generally going to lead to a lot of frustration. So if if you're on path and you're on path and you get in your flow, and generally what I say to people is, you're in flow when time dissipates. So when you're in the zone, it's not about the money, it's about doing what you love. And when you're doing what you love, and obviously if you make money from that too, that's great. However, it's not about that. It's about do what you love and the money will come, right? And when you're in the zone and doing what you love, then you lose track of time. And that's a great way to know that you're in the zone.
Yes.
Whereas
totally.
when you're doing something you hate, or a job that you hate, how often, like I'd say, a lot of people doing the 9-to-5 jobs are constantly looking at their watches and can't wait to be out the door at 5 o'clock. That's why there's this Monday-itis that happens with a lot of people, that, it's the dreaded Monday, and then Friday it's time to drink yourself silly and get over the week, and this kind of culture that that a lot of people are living. So, and, everyone's on their own journey. So I guess really what we're doing here today is we're helping give people some tips on confidence and how to feel better about themselves and live lives they love. And I think we've given some brilliant tips already. Any final comments, Maree? We do need to wrap up shortly. We've nearly spoken for a whole hour, would you believe? We could keep on chatting. And I think, you're a very inspiring lady yourself, and really appreciate all the wisdom you've shared so far. So any final tips for our viewers on how to boost confidence or how to feel like a star, anything like that?
Well, I think just rewatch the video, because there's lots in there already, and just do whatever you can to build your belief in yourself, whatever you can to build that belief and to have that resilience, and to just know that that is the only thing you can never lose. You can never lose yourself. So really build on that and do what it takes to get to know that, because that in itself will really help you.
Beautiful. And I like that we've said shine from within. As I often say, when you shine your light bright, you can help others light up around you, because it is like that. If you think about a flame or a candle, you put one candle next to another candle, you've got a bigger flame, right? So if we're all living our light and shining bright like candles, then we can create beautiful magic light together. So light yourself up, light up those around you. That's beautiful, Maree. Thank you so much. And how can people connect with you?
They can connect with me through my Facebook page, Holistic Beauty Adventures, where you get lots of great makeup tips, but manifesting tips, inspiring stories. So that's a good way, Holistic Beauty Adventures. Or on my website, mareestuart.com. If you look for the Discover It button and click on that, that's a really great way to have amazing inspiration and great savings sent into your inbox. And then also today, for this special interview that you've done and for sharing this, I'd like to offer a special on my Makeup Masterclass to help you shine like a star. And there's a 30% discount on that. And we will have the instructions in the chat box just to be able to click on a link to go there if you're interested in that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maree. That's brilliant. And any final closing comments before we wrap up?
No, but thank you so much, Aldwyn, for this opportunity to share my story with the world. And I just hope that more people share their story with the world and that they can become confident that they have something to inspire others with. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Maree. Thank you. And you are shining bright and you are definitely a walking example of your work. So keep up the great work. I really look forward to hearing more about your journey. And of course, you are an inspirational speaker as well, so people can book you, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, yeah. You're out to share your message far and wide, so people can book you, and you're available for media interviews as well on this topic. I think it's a hot topic, how to boost your confidence and feel like a star, and you certainly have a lot of experience in that area. So thank you so much, Maree. It's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to have you on the show, and look forward to hearing more about you and connecting more down the track as well and seeing your progress. And maybe we'll do another interview down the track and see where you're going. You could be anywhere in the world at that point.
Well, that's right. Maybe from the boat. You never know. In the south of Europe. So that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yes, as long as we've got internet connection, we can do it.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maree. And thank you to everyone who's been watching this today. You have been watching Star Xpose TV, and we've been chatting to the lovely Maree Stuartt, who is an award-winning celebrity makeup artist who has worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, with Hugh Jackman, Vin Diesel, Catherine Zeta Jones, brings a wealth of experience from 27 years working in the film and TV industry. And she is available as a public speaker and has an awesome online course as well about how to do makeup successfully, the Makeup Masterclass that she runs with her online course. And she's just offered us a fantastic offer, 30% off on her course, which you can check the details in the link underneath this video, wherever you're watching it. It'll be on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the Aldwyn Altuney channel on YouTube yet, make sure you subscribe and you'll see all the other shows that we've got online, and love to hear from you. What did you think of this show? Do you have any comments, any feedback, anything you'd like to add? Just make sure you chat with us. We'd love to hear from you in the chat box underneath this video, wherever you're watching it on social media. And we look forward to connecting with you some more in the future, some more episodes of Star Xpose TV. And here's to you shining bright so you can light up those around you as well and make the difference that only you can make in this world. So here's to being the best version of you. Thanks again, Maree. Thank you so much for being with us, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you on another episode soon. Bye for now.
Bye.